Hey there, everybody. What I wanted to do with this video was just give you an idea of what we're looking for here with the layout design. Now you've already clicked through to this, which is this page here, because that will be located up here. Just as an idea of what we're looking for here, what we're seeing happen here in chapters 8 and 9 is you are taking another big turn for modernity in the web pages that you're creating. And like we mentioned or started alluding to all the way back in chapters 3, 5, and 6 is that images are really, very, very potent grabbing tools. What they do is they ensnare your unknown potential future user, and that's what you're going to use to help get them to read your content. That's what you're going to use to help get your unknown potential future client to be involved with your content, to stay on your page, and to visit you again. So what we're going to do here in layout design 1, there's also a layout design 2, and really this follows through to your final projects as well, is what we're going to do is mimic the new modern, it's really 2015 and beyond, design standards that you would see when you're out there consuming media on the internet. So what are we looking to recreate? So we can see it here on the Apple, it's just apple.com. We have an image with a text overlay. We have an image with text overlay. That's exactly what's happening here. You can actually see each one of these boxes, these content boxes, is separated here. Right? So this really thin white line in between these slightly grayer backgrounds. So that's an image with a text overlay. If we come to a Verge video review, we've got an image with text. If we keep scrolling down, what you'll notice is we have high quality image followed by block of text followed by high quality image. If we come to something like the inverse, we're seeing that again and again and again here with a slightly different tact to it. So we see not just a high quality image, but actually a video in the background here with a text overlay. High quality image, text. You can tell that these are a very, very probably an ID or a class rather, because we've got this same sizing with this same overall design standard repeated here, here, and here, where we have high quality image, text, high quality image, text, high quality image, text. And if we keep scrolling, image in the background with text overlay. This really is the design standard that you'll see on most web pages. Don't believe me? We'll keep going. High quality image, text. If we keep scrolling down, these are separated out by classes here. You can see, the separation between this section, which would be a class, this section, which would be a class, this section, which would be a class. You can tell it is further. It's maybe hard to see. We've got a white background here, a very, very light gray background here, a darker gray background here, a lighter off-white background here, but we've got content, high quality image. Keep going down, a new section, high quality image, and content over here. So for layout design 1, you are selecting any one of these variations on this design theme. Image in the background, high quality image in the background, text overlay or text, to the side, something to that effect. What you'll be doing, so I've got all these pages in here as kind of a benchmark for what you might be able to do. Here are some sites for good high quality images. We talked about these all the way back in chapter 3, but that was a million years ago. Pixneo. This one is fantastic. These are royalty-free, high-quality, free use images. Over here, this one is Pixabay. Pixabay is where I make all of our CIS posters off of. I get the vector graphics off of here, so they, so they're like digital art, but they're not photos. I actually get those from here. Those would be something that you could use. Unsplash really is now the darling of people who get images for free images, royalty-free, attribution-free, oftentimes images for educational and other use. Actually, most of the images you'll see on things like Gizmodo or a lot of the images you'll see in the backgrounds for your podcasts essentially come from Unsplash now. This has become really popular. Unsplash actually offers a royalty-free selection of video backgrounds as well. So if you wanted to create something like you see here, an image in the background and a video in the background are not very different at all. So what you'll be doing is, here you'll be creating a web page with a separate CSS. If by now you haven't abandoned entirely your internal CSS for external CSS, I just haven't been harping at you quite enough. One section, we'll call it the top section, containing a banner image. So, this here would be a banner image. Up here, this on Apple would be a banner image. Here on Inverse, this would be a banner type image because it's taking up the majority of your page. And I do actually suggest that you use a wrapper. It doesn't have to maintain 100% of your viewport. Really, it can just maintain 100% of your page. It has to include a high quality image, so if I see a ton of pixelation there, that's a fault. The width of the page, again, it has to be the width of your page, but it has to be the width of your wrapper. That's good enough. A text overlay with a message for the user. So if you come through here and you find, we're at Unsplash, I don't know, I had an argument with my boy about eating blueberries this morning, so here we are, blueberries. And you find a high quality image like this, and you make it your banner up on top. So this could be your image, and it says blueberries underneath it. And then underneath you could have a subheading, blueberries are fine, and another subheading, just eat them, won't you? Or whatever you need to do there. So a text overlay with a message for the user. So we're looking for a title. We're looking for, something like we see here. Breath of the Wild 2 really should just give us a link gun already. So all of that. Next, one more smaller section containing two smaller sections inside of it. So what would that look like? Potentially, something like this if you wanted to have a vertically oriented page. Something like this if you wanted to have a horizontally oriented page. We see that here on Apple as well. Here's a big marquee. And if I scroll down, sooner or later, here we go. We've got left and right. This is essentially what we would be looking for by the description. But if you chose to go vertically oriented like we see now, that would be fine. Inside of that, the secondary section, that does also contain two smaller secondary sections. We're looking for the same thing, high quality image background, text overlay, half-ish of the page. Look, if you want to do like you see here, these are not half the page, right? Because we have this margin on the left, we have a margin on the top, we have a smaller margin on the right because this one would have left, top, and right. That's fine. These are not 50-50 of your page. This is probably 48% each one of these, or maybe even a little bit smaller. And what I'll tell you is, if you were to have a 50% image, a 50%, or not image, an ID, another 50% ID with any kind of margin between them, your page is not going to render properly. That's because HTML has to follow your rules. Look, top to bottom, left to right. So if this section is 50% of the width and this section is 50% of the width, and you don't have margins or padding or anything like that, maybe it'll fit because 50% plus 50% equals 100. But if this has to be 50% with a little bit of a margin, let's say even 1 pixel, this section cannot, in normal flow, be next to it because this is 50% plus 1 pixel, which means this at 50% will not fit on the same line. So that's probably the biggest issue I see when it comes through for, what the number one problem students encounter is the math there. 50 plus 50 equals 100. You are absolutely correct there. However, everything you do to help create that space, a little bit of padding, a little bit of margins, a few pixels here, a few percent here, those all have to fit together. My suggestion to you is don't think of these two smaller sections as 50% apiece. Try 48 first and see if that gets you someplace. So what you're doing, again, is you're recreating a modern looking web page. They can be, of any theme, of any subject that you want. There's not going to be a ton of content on there, right? You're probably looking at fewer than 30 total words maximum, and that'll be okay. What you're looking for is high quality image to make a banner, so a full width. You're looking at high quality image and text, and we need 2 of those underneath it. So have at it, everybody.